Good. Who wants to start?
I graduated from Bold last week, and I'm so glad to be back with all of you.
There was a big group that graduated last week.
So it was
Yeah.
Rachel and Sherry Welly and I from here.
Awesome.
It was good.
Awesome. I love that. What else is good? I like Amy's sweatshirt. That's good. And I also saw the Secret Santa that you want fishing lures, and it just made my whole day. Like it made my whole day this morning. What else? We have other things, guys. I know we do. It's holiday season. What's going on?
I'm Jessica Jacobson. I'm coming over from the Eden Prairie office. So
Welcome, by the way.
I'm excited to be here. This is my first meeting here. So
Yay.
that is my bucket bill. I'm super excited to be here.
We are excited to have you. Super excited. All right. This is her first meeting and she already has her hand raised. Something good. So now everyone else has to at least have one thing.
I really appreciate this last week, the vulnerability of people in our office and some ALC members, the way share and connect and talk and encourage and challenge, and there was a good week of that, and I really appreciate you and wherever Derek is and Angie and Scott and you, and so thanks for that.
It's interesting. I love that you brought that up because there's been a lot of different conversations, and not just with the ALC, but just like in general. I think when you come to the end of the year and then you go into a new year, I mean, we had talked about it in the PC group, they're still in there right now, of like reflections and vulnerabilities of like actually kind of looking in the mirror and saying, okay, what are the things that either need to change or I need to just be aware of? So there's been a lot of those conversations kind of popping up in different places. So thanks for bringing that up. What else? What else is good?
I want to bucket fill Derek because after the really good ALC conversation, which again, I think that the perspective of the pages here, especially Derek and I had a conversation afterwards. He told me where the key to his office is because he found out where the key to my office is. And
Yeah, this was like the master key and now we have to move it.
No.
Just
just a key to Derek's office and access to all of his client files and vice versa. So we had just a quick conversation about it. He's like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. You good?" "Yeah, okay, I'm good." So it's just it's a mutual respect thing, and I think it was pretty cool.
Your minds think alike.
There you go.
I don't even know where to go with that, but.
Oh, my office is decorated next week. I know it was him.
Right.
Like,
It's like, yeah,
Because I had that prank once and it wasn't so great. But I think I brought it.
that's right.
Awesome. What else? Two more things.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Oh, two more things that are good.
I got to go to Charleston, South Carolina last week and talk about commercial real estate specific to craft breweries. So it was kind of fun.
Ooh, fun. Ooh.
So
We should talk about that a little bit. That sounds interesting in general. Super cool. I saw another hand go up.
Yes.
Well, just going off Bold or just at the end of the year of trying to get 2024 start up. So I tried really hard December to like get more appointments. So I've already had 4 buyers sign. Most beginning.
All right.
Really great.
Super cool. I love that. I love the bucket fill. I don't know if anyone's noticed the new media room. It's gonna get mentioned here in just a little bit. We don't have the walls finished. But it has been all set up, which I have no idea how to use it at all yet. So we might need like a tutorial on that. But we appreciate that so
We have that
much.
coming up in the slides.
Oh, perfect. Cause I like went in there and I was like, oh, wow, that's a lot for me. I was like, is there like one button to push on it? But it looks really nice, and I think it's gonna provide a lot of opportunity for our agents, as well as our vendors to be able to kind of do different things together in that particular room. So thank you for setting that all up, because there's no way that I know I wouldn't have been able to do it. Maybe Heather.
Oh, for sure.
I think that that's a bucket fill in a way that, I get to see our conversations with a lot of different, the EP, agents that have come over, or, even from different market centers that have come over. And I think it's a really good thing in our market center. Our offices are all full already, and we have now things like a studio, or things like, there's just a fun experience to changing our culture up a little bit. And as people come in and do that, I think it's really good for a group that can sometimes get homogenous to go, hey, let's bring this in. And it's something that I'm sure no one planned and said, wouldn't it be great if our market center just went away? But to go, hey, look how cool things can kind of come from this. And it's been fun to see that. So everyone from EP, or even if you've come from Minneapolis or Edina and made some of those transitions, and thank you to the leadership teams that's done all the forms and made it really easy to be broker on that. It's been really good from the back end and seeing that. So thanks a lot.
Been fun. Been super fun. All right, moving on. December training calendar. So we still have quite a few trainings, actually. We have our last Leadership Academy tomorrow, and then we have our collective holiday party. Who's all going? Who all knows what they're wearing already tomorrow?
I'm in bold. I don't know. You guys talked about it.
It's cocktail attire. So whatever you feel like that is. There will be people in long dresses. There will be people in non-long dresses. There will be people in jumpsuits.
Someone said what you would wear to a wedding. To just a normal.
Also very vague.
Your own,
I'm not gonna be Jane.
your own wedding.
I could wear whatever.
That means.
We're not talking about. There you go. Here's the deal. If you wear anything that sparkles, you're gonna be good.
Everyone in heels and ties.
Oh, there's Scott, like, welcome.
And if anyone doesn't know Scott. So that's tomorrow night. It's gonna be really fun because it's all of the offices together. So it also gives you an opportunity, if you don't know other people from offices, to be able to introduce yourself and maybe get to know them, or be able to kind of see them if you don't see them often in trainings or whatnot. So that's from 6 until 10 p.m. There are heavy appetizers served, and it is cash bar. Mastering Google is next week, Tuesday. We have our holiday potluck, our Secret Santa, and our R&R on the 20th. So we're kind of kicking into what?
Can you confirm, I'm sorry, but just to clarify, because I've run into this before, when you say cash bar, and it's not cash only bar, it's cash bar.
Do they take cards? Do they take credit cards?
Just want to make sure, okay.
Yeah, I think I meant like, it's not like open bar. So opposite of open bar.
Just as long as they
You have to pay for your
only
drinks
take cash.
in whatever way you'd like to pay for your drinks.
Close the line down if you use a credit card, Rick.
Yeah, I would say it's gonna have down if you use cash.
Holiday potluck is on next Wednesday. Secret Santa and R&R. Where is R&R next week?
Is it on there?
Yeah, there's a flyer coming
Yep.
up.
It's on.
Okay, then we're gonna get to that. And then next Thursday, A to Z to get market share with for sale by owners and expired. I'm gonna be teaching that class, and it's gonna take you from where do you find these all the way to the follow-up plan for most of those. So if you're like, this is something I want to either add, or I forgot how to do for sale by owner expired because we didn't have them for quite some time in regards to the expired list, sign up for that class and we can kind of go through the basics for that. Any questions regarding any of our trainings prior to the end of the year?
Are we canceling team meeting on the 27th? Is that why it's empty?
Yes.
No?
Yes. Yes, we are. We are gonna have holiday shows on though in here that day, if you'd like to,
fun.
if you'd like to watch them.
That's right.
Do you want to? I do like that. We could do that, but we could do that all day on the 20th if you'd like to.
Streaming video.
I mean, can I share your, like, I walked in, we did this for anyone that's new to the office. On Halloween, we had scary movies and actually some of them were terrifying. So we need to edit that next year. And all I see is Shane be kicked up with, was it popcorn? Just sitting here. And I was like, this is great. And then other people started coming in and watching the shows. I'm like, it was a great little break in his Legion. So if you guys want that, we can definitely put on Christmas shows next week as well. All right, holiday potluck. So next week, bring your favorite appetizer or dessert. And we have a sign up sheet for that you have sent out, correct?
I'll send it out again.
You did send it out or you're going to?
I'll send it out again.
So we'll send that out again today and then bring that for next week. The gift exchange, when does that need to be done by?
Today is the last day you can sign up and we'll
Okay.
let you know who you're applying for tomorrow.
Okay, so if you have not done this, scan this awesome little QR code here and sign up, put your name in there, and then about 3 to 4 things that you're interested in regards to gift. So if you love wine, put wine in there. If you love Montana, put Montana in there. If you love hockey, put hockey in there. I thought I'd just give you guys some ideas.
What are the parameters on that? Like, are we?
$25 limit.
$25 limit.
Yep, $25 limit.
That's it.
And Lydia will probably send that out again today too.
Mhm.
In the email. after
And
this
then we
week.
do open that next Wednesday, here.
And you can bring your gifts in anytime and leave
Yeah,
them
we
under
put
the
them
tree.
Door decorating contest. Okay, so we have a door decorating contest and that needs to be decorated by next week, right? Right by by the 20th, yes. If you do not have a door, you can adopt a door. So we have plenty of doors that are not being decorated or used with office space. So we have 2 in the training room. So let us know. Then we can put you in that contest as well. And last year, Rick and Sherry won. So I would really like everyone to bring up their talent in door decorating so we can give them some really good competition.
I lost it to Derek and his previous partner who put a fireplace that worked on their door. What?
I was not here then.
It was like a, like a fake electric flame, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty impressive.
I would be impressed by that.
Yeah. And some of us had like an entire house built out.
I just got stressed about my door decorating skills. Like I need to think about this. All right, next.
Yeah.
Do you want to do this one, Rick?
Yeah, real quick, Baja House, so there's reasons for this. So this is probably the perfect day to go to the happy hour because we're doing everything else earlier in the day. Everything's happening on the 20th, right? We've got the potluck, we got the door decorating contest. Everybody can prospect and then go to this happy hour. It's right in Wayzata. The reason we're doing Baja House is because winter's upon us and this is the opposite of winter. This is a nice, uplifting, really fun surfing type place. Super cool. And the conversation is going to be around, so Rachel volunteered to come and be part of this conversation. It's about how we're getting clients to launch next year. So how we're getting clients in December over the holidays to launch next year, because you leave this and you're rolling into Christmas weekend. So
Perfect.
that'd be great.
Super cool.
Thank you, Rachel.
All right, so this is really cool. I just remembered, I don't know how we're gonna vote on this. Maybe we could do a
Heart
Google
rate just
sheet
went
with
up.
it, or is it easier just to like write it down on a sheet of paper now?
You don't have to RSVP. They are, no.
So part of the
This is
media
kinda show off.
studio, is we are going to put like a studio name on the window, correct? And I am so not creative in this aspect. So part of the bucket fill is that these are the options that we came up with, and that by we, I do not mean me, I mean Tom, came up with, and we wanted to just, have your input of what you wanted to put on that window, which is kind of fun as you guys are doing videos and whatnot, to be able to span in on that. So I don't know where Kevin went, but we are gonna vote on this. What we're gonna do is get a piece of paper and we'll give you each a small portion. If you want to put what number you like the best out of this, and then we'll count the tallies. Any questions?
I'm sorry, 394, is that just because we're right off 394?
I love
Just
that.
making sure that we're.
What else? Any other questions? And no, there are no other options that are gonna be put on the table, so you're voting from these.
Can't write in.
You can't write in. There's no write-in voting on this one. So I will put this back up and
I was gonna say, like, did you talk about how people can use it, sign up for it, or is that still being?
The media room.
we haven't even gotten to that part, so what I think, what we'll probably go out of right away is just as it's free, you can use it. As it gets busier and busier, we'll probably have a sign-up sheet.
Sure.
So we'll kind of move forward with that. Do we want to do the voting right now, since Kevin was so awesome to get the little.
We can also maybe put this back up on the screen after the team meeting, after spinning the wheel.
Yeah, we can. We definitely can.
And then the next page talks about some training times.
Well, they just, some of them are getting their number, so we're just gonna give like 2 seconds for them to vote on this.
Anybody need to sign?
Oh, yeah.
Can I have?
Like, are you like weighing your options right now?
What are we doing here? Good thing.
So we'll give you about another 60 seconds, and then if you need another time when we're doing spin the wheel, we'll put it back up there.
At the end, how does that sound? At the end?
Can you get a vote?
Kevin gave me 3 votes, so.
Can I just be like the tiebreaker if there's a tie?
Oh, yes, they can vote online. You can vote online.
Around.
Oh, yeah, are you counting the votes?
Put them all in the same vote.
Not really a dialogue.
You're not voting for number 46.
It's a one-way conversation.
All right, marking them.
Oh, okay.
So you're picking them up?
20 seconds.
No, I picked them up.
You're already up.
Right, thank you, sir. Shane said he's not voting.
We're good.
I want to get his number.
I was calling- I already called it.
I know, this is the most stressful part of your day today.
Sure, yeah.
Voting in Chicago.
All right.
That's him taking a half hour.
That's okay.
Yep, we're good.
30 people in the room, 50 votes.
Oh, these,
Yeah, so we set up some times for training.
for training times. Okay, this is perfect. So if you want to get trained in on how to use the equipment, actually not if you're going to use the equipment, you have to be trained in. Because otherwise you have to reset things all the time or figure it out. So the training times are Wednesday, the 20th from 12 to 1, Thursday, the 21st from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Thursday, the 21st from 12 to 1.
Throw out a few ideas.
So those are ideas. Obviously, we want to see who's available for those. Are we gonna send that out too, that they can just do a sign up sheet for one of those times so we kind of know who's all coming in?
I'm sure Tom would appreciate that.
So that we know. Perfect. As we're talking about new people to the market center, so we kind of wanted to, say welcome to all of you. There's a few faces in here. If you guys want to stand up, if you haven't been welcomed yet, and just kind of share your name and one fun fact.
I'm Jessica. Scott.
I'm Jessica.
Um,
And Blake is your
yeah,
son.
like my son. So I obviously, as some of you know, I primarily do custom build and construction, a company called LDK Homes. Knowledge or insight into the world that I've done for 20 years and made a pretty good living doing it.
If you ever have a tear down in Edina, Izetta, on the lake, send it to Scott. Yep.
I mean, I think that's how I met you, like way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a tear down patient. Well, welcome, welcome.
Okay. Two sets of information. Tear down. The cost of a tear down, the cost to tear a house down, typical 1950s, 1940s, whatever it is, house, 15 grand. That's all. House completely gone, basement and everything, $15,000. So when you see these houses that are like, this lot is worth more than the house, only 15 grand more, get it torn down, and then the lot and might open up some avenues for you. So when builders tell you it's 50 grand,
Is it the same if it's a meth lab?
yeah, your house would be an
You disclose that just already. Because it's recorded. I'm really glad you were vulnerable.
Just to say It's Jet's birthday tomorrow. Looks pretty phenomenal for 66.
Yes, I concentrate on the Lake Minnetonka area, tear downs, and then I tag along with Scott with for new construction. So,
Awesome. Welcome. Tony. Awesome.
That's a recent picture, like that one.
That is really cool. This was before the rugged look.
So last month I got this culture award for some reason. But I wanted to share a story. So I first met Joe. So this award is for Joe Cashmore, and I first met Joe when I was 25. And I had just kind of come from a assistantship that I was working on with an artist, and so I'd never really made money before, so it was kind of a new experience to get into real estate. So, I've experienced seeing Joe around in the office. He's fun to be around. Like he was a really good guy. He had a great sense of humor. He had a good laugh and loved playing jokes. That was something that he really enjoyed. And I remember I played a joke on him once, and because I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I can play jokes on you too. Like you like this thing. So I hid his shoes. We would go around to these open houses and go around on tour when we all got together and used to do that. I hid his shoes underneath an open house sign. It was at a condo. I think it was in Excelsior. And I hid his shoes underneath the sign, and so he came out of the house, and I had already left. I left with my shoes because I wanted to make sure I got out of there. So I hid his shoes underneath there, and he left with his socks because he couldn't find them.
Oh, no.
And so then a few hours passed, and I get back to the office. Well, I was in one of those little cubicles, but I had a lot of stuff. And I came back to my cubicle, and I was getting ready to work and make some calls or whatever. My entire office. I couldn't find it. Couldn't find my computer. Couldn't find my papers. I couldn't find any of my files I needed to work on. Oh my God, like this would have taken somebody an hour, maybe 2 hours to move all this stuff.
Not if you just do this and like put it into like the box.
Well, yeah. So when I showed up and I actually found all this stuff, but it took a good hour to find it because he hid it in the office in a closet. This was in our old building. And how in the heck did you move all that? I said, well, I got a team. All help. Anyway, so that's Joe. Just a great guy. So we created this award in honor of him, and he passed away from cancer a number of years ago. It was this really sad moment. Loved Joe. Learned a lot from him. I joined his team for some time. He was a great mentor to me. So I'm very appreciative of him and everything he brought to the Market Center. So this award, I think the market that we're in right now, like it's a different time than what we've seen before. It's been a good 12 or 13 years since we've seen market that we're in, even though it's a little different. But I think the one thing that stands out to me is consistent lead generation and the culture of that. And so the person that stands out the most to me is Shane. So.
You know what's great about this is both of them are like, so I got picked for this thing.
Hey, do you like your photo?
Yeah.
Remember when I took that yesterday? He was in the middle of lead genning and I grabbed him. I grabbed him phone. Well, Candy sent me a photo or she's like, hey, we need a photo of Shane. I'm like, oh, I'll get one. And he just gave me that look. I can say a word or two. I guess the big thing, and I know I'm not this, volunteering my time and going to the potlucks and everything, but I think when I'm here, I think the biggest thing I notice with bar here is just a positive energy. Like you come in, everybody's saying hi to everybody, you're making jokes, people stop into each other's offices and say hi, got a fist bump today. And it's just a good, fun place to be. And I try to bring that when I walk in, Lydia's always there saying hi and sometimes hi, and she's, yeah. But I think it's just, everybody just brings a good culture here. And, that's what I try to bring is a little positive energy, a smile and joke here.
All right, so we're gonna go over November numbers. Like you, the leadership team can always make mistakes. So if there's a mistake up here, or also we've had a lot of shifting in numbers, some things might not be completely updated, especially if you've transferred from a different office. So again, please just let us know so that we can make the correction at some point in time moving forward. But I do always like to preface that again, with the leadership team, sometimes things let us know so we can fix it very quickly. All right, congratulations to our cappers for November, Terry and Scott. Here? No, Scott was in his office before, but Sherry's on the team. Yeah. All right, so top individuals, when we're doing this, especially now that we have a great group that's in here, I do like to clap for everyone because it's a big meeting. And for this, people like to celebrate their numbers. So individual listings taken, Amy Black. Volume, Amy Black at 1. Yeah. Amy, how long have you been licensed? Okay. Just wanted to side note that on how amazing she's doing to be #1 in November. So it hasn't even been or just been this. So you're doing awesome, like super awesome. Closed volume, Scott Nagel at 2.4. Moving into top team. Listings taken, North Home Team with 6. Listings taken volume, North Home Team at 6.8. MSP. Angie. Closed volume, the exception of Newton at 2.6. D. Murray, right? D. Murray.
Right, yeah.
D. Murray, okay. I'm like, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it after the 3rd month. D. Murray Enterprises, 2.2. Top groups, listings taken, we have the Zurich Property Twins with 6. Yeah. volume, we have Homer's Group at 3.9. Groups with closed volume, we've got the Homer's Group with 7.7. Some really great numbers for November. Like when you're looking at kind of throughout the year, and I think we in real estate talk a lot about seasonality, right? I don't think that those necessarily prove seasonality to be a true thing. Closing mixed numbers, so awesome job. Closed GCI, we have the Zurich Property Twins in the number 1 spot. And then commercial, we have Stedman KW commercial team with 1 listing taken and the volume at 1. So we have GA commercial team and then number 1 spot. All right, so this is where we're going to look at the numbers. And again, if you're new, it's comparing KW Lake Minnetonka with the MLS in our area. When we want to look at our area, this is where we're providing that information from. So if you're outside of that area, again, go with MLS. This is just kind of what's closely around our particular market center. So in regards to closed units, we are outpacing both the MLS and the area. And as we've kind of seen month over month, that was not necessarily the trend. So we are taking more and more market share as the months are going on. And we're seeing that kind of with each month when we look at written units, that we keep outpacing. So the numbers really do tell a story as we closed volume, we are down about 17.2%. The MLS is down 16.8%, and the area is down 9%. Listings taken, we are outpacing. We're down about a half a percentage, where the MLS is actually down 10%, and the area is down 2%. Listings taken volume, we're down 2% or 2.5%. MLS is down 5.8%. Area is down or is up actually 6%. That's a very odd. Is that correct? I mean, this is an odd number. I might look into this to make sure that when those numbers are pulled, that's just a strange number if they're down listings taken, but they're up by that much. Listings sold volume, we're down about 10%, but outpacing the MLS still, which is down 18%, and then the area is down 12%. So again, kind of like last month, we were talking like they're all negative numbers, but they're actually in a positive direction, right? So as we're looking at this, I mean, we were seeing 22% at the MLS. We were seeing very, very high numbers in the negatives. And especially for our market center, it's moving to the positive a little bit more quickly than the area in the MLS. So listing sold volume, we're pacing about on par with MLS right now, with down 16%. The area is down 9%. Contracts written, we are down 5%, still outpacing the MLS, which is down 13%, and the area is down 7%, which kind of tells us again next month when we look at this, most likely our close to the next few months will be outpacing that as well. The MLS in the area. Contracts written, we're down 7.8 for volume, and then we are still outpacing MLS, which is down 10%, and the area is just a little shy of 1%. What do you guys take from these numbers? You're thinking of our market center. Do you feel like you're gaining market share? Like, what do you take from that? That just didn't come out. Rick.
Two thoughts. One, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems as though it's worth noting again that our area is typically a little bit stronger than overall MLS. And then the second thought is that we are doing a little bit better in the majority of the categories than the overall MLS. And I think that's a testament to the dynamic nature of this office and the company. We knew 3 months ago that things were shifting pretty quick, and everybody started to adapt at that point. And I think what we're seeing is some positive feedback on the action that people have been taking the past 2 months, in doing some new prospecting and working harder to go out there and actually, attract clients.
No, I would agree. I think there was a lot of conversation that started even happening 6 months ago of what's gonna happen and where are we shifting and are we gonna focus on lead gen and what does our pipeline look like? And I think the honest, vulnerable conversations in that is the pipeline was not strong. Or the pipeline was my buyers have backed out of the market or sellers are afraid of whatever, right? So what did you have to do? You had to double down to make sure that we were kept filling that pipeline more and more and more.
One of the things that might be on, skewed on there is our area, obviously, the average sale price, average list price is probably in the top 10% or
Yes.
higher. So it'd be interesting to have that on there to see, what that looks like each month to skew, if all of a sudden the average list price was 700 here, and that might give you a little more insight to those numbers as well.
And I love that piece of it. And I think that's, the part of that is that's affecting volume all the time, right? And the one conversation that we've had for quite some time is the volume is great because we get paid on the volume, right? But when that volume shifts because sales price goes down, inventory goes up, offers go down and it starts pushing that, the number one thing I really like to focus on is our units, right? Because no matter where you are, MLS or area or your business, you can control your units by your lead gen and your pipeline. You can't always control your sales volume no matter how much you try. Yes, you can put yourself in situations that get higher sales volume, but at the same time, there's still people that come in a lower one, right? So I love that aspect and that perspective is, volume can shift, obviously, depending on where you're working. But if we're always tracking units, it really gives us a good handle on who's taking market share and who's not. What else? Wendy?
Well, I just want to share one experience. We had buyers that after 2 weeks of negotiation, finally got under contract on a property on Fish Lake and Maple Grove, which they had 2 weeks to get their house on the market and went active November 18th. And we've been now reverse prospecting, reaching out to other agents. And I can't tell you how many agents that I talk to, and they're like, oh, we're just waiting till the next year. We're going to start over in January. I mean, the agents have taken off, the buyers have taken off mentally. And yet I feel like here, we're all still in the game. I mean, Shane's still got his golf club in his hand. He's still walking around lead genning every day. The rest of us who just wrapped up folder been making 100 contacts, and I'm still getting after it, trying to find a buyer for their thing. And I think that is the difference in the numbers that we'll have as if we're staying engaged in the game, engaged in the best interest of our client, and not just buying the line that, oh, everybody's just checked out. And
Not everybody, and to that point, there's 7.7, 5.5 solo agents closing 1.3. I mean, there are sales to be had out there. Like that is not a shift where we're all of a sudden like, there's 2 people up there that are providing closings. There was a lot of production in November, right? So it's there. It's whether or not, I mean, we talked about this in PC this morning, right? I think someone mentioned last week, if you don't ask for the business, you didn't lose anything because you didn't have it in the first place. But what you did lose was the opportunity for that business by not asking, right? You lost the opportunity to even get it if you didn't ask for it. So it's out there. How many of you want to see our column not be in the negative? Because I do, right? I don't care, quite frankly, where the MLS is. I don't care necessarily even where our area is, right? The one thing that we can change though is our column to not be negative. right? We can say, yeah, but we're outpacing, that's awesome. I wanna celebrate that all day, and I would really, really love to see our office in the positive. Number one, because that means that you're doing a ton of business and you're taking market share, which means that you're hitting the goals that you want and you're providing to the lifestyle that you want and the family that you have, right? Who's in on that? When are we gonna do that by? Live question, live question.
Be in the positive?
Yeah.
January of 2020.
Okay.
February's meeting.
So February's meeting. So right now I wanna be very clear on that. Who has pendings for January right now? Okay? Who's gonna get pendings for January? Okay? Cause for January, we got about 2 more weeks and I'm gonna be just super transparent on that, right? And I wanna be very real. I don't wanna put something out there if we aren't already pacing for that, number one, and 2, committed to getting more closings for January.
February 2024.
Okay, so that means by,
Too soon.
what? I would agree. So when we're sitting here,
90 days,
So-
120 days.
Okay, let's take your 90 to 120 and let's be bold and cut it in half.
you what?
And we need the time to get the business for all the people who haven't already started that.
And we're talking about outpacing what we
Right.
did last year and trying to make that impact, so.
And only in those towns.
Are you gonna, is this gonna get skewed with obviously the huge influx that you had with added people this, well?
Doesn't matter. I mean, we're gonna keep growing all next year, right? So, I mean, with that, there's, you know what I mean?
Are you
There's-
adding our volume from are you adding like my volume into this number for last year, so it doesn't skew this year's? Because I came over here,
No, it won't, it's only gonna be
Well-
added going forward.
so that's gonna skew
Yes,
your numbers
moving forward,
positively.
it will, and however, that's still growth, right? So you add a team member and they sell 6 million, are you gonna say that you didn't outpace last year?
Well, my team didn't, cause we're not.
I'm just, do you get what I'm saying? Like, yes, it will, but I wouldn't say it skews it, because. Tell me more about that.
Well, obviously, if you're counting last year's number versus this year's numbers in the MLS areas and the MLS area and the MLS, and then ours is skewed because all of a sudden you added 10, 15 new agents to this office. That's gonna make us, yeah, we're gonna look great because we grew agents, I guess. Doesn't tell you what the market is doing. It tells you that our specific office grew in people. Didn't say that our office grew in.
True, and can I combat that a little bit? Right, so with the growth of an office, that means that we're taking market share as an office, right? So yes, but now you're part of this office, right? So part of that growth, like last month, we added new agents that weren't from your market center, or we have new agents that came in, or Amy's now, number 1 individual last month, she was new in May. So did that skew the numbers from last November to here? I wouldn't say it does, right? But it is a new person bringing in business, and that's the whole part of these numbers, is growing the market center in whatever way that is. Is that fair? Does that make sense?
Look at it, yeah, sure.
Is our office measured on that area as well?
This is our office, this is everything.
Everything in our office. Yeah.
We're just comparing our office on the area just because if people are doing a lot of business in that area. Okay, so when are we gonna be positive by? This is not my goal, right? I want it to be our goal. I can set a goal out there, but if you guys don't want that, that goal means nothing.
If
Then
you
if it's
consider,
easy, could be
if
30
you
days.
consider what Scott's bringing up as as a variable, theoretically, it should be January.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I feel like, I mean, to Scott's point, I do like the point you're bringing up. Sure, the office grew, but we also had a market center that disappeared as a result of it. So for our area, that'll be impacted in the area and the MLS members.
If I remember correctly, February was killed it in February last year. I
think that's correct.
moment.
Sooner.
We did have a good February. I mean,
I like to set goals that I
oh
can
no, that's March.
work steadily toward.
February and January were very similar last year.
It's hard when it's too soon.
It was January, I'd be like, well,
Throw in the towel, it's already over. Work harder in October.
but no, I like,
Days left.
I like to work. And so I wanna work through, you know,
But yes, there needs to be a balance.
This conversation's good though, right? Because it's like, you're hearing people like, well, I don't have anything and I'm not going, you know, there's perspective on it.
so I'm probably not.
Right.
24th and 30th.
Rachel, what did you hear at Bold about it having closings in January? In relation to it being December 13th right now? What would they tell you in Bold? Don't count on anything, or they tell you to keep going?
That you keep going. Yeah, but I mean, like, I want a long-term goal so that I can get there.
So January, February, which one is it gonna be? And who's committed to that month?
Numbers, or February's numbers.
Who's committed to being positive by February? Let's raise our hand.
What?
Positive by February. Positive.
Who's committed to being positive by January?
Are you saying February's numbers, which we see in March?
See in March, and I'm in.
I think February's
Yeah.
better.
Except for Rick. Rick has to be there by February. No,
Okay.
that's what'll motivate him.
Okay, I'm gonna come up with something that I'm gonna do when we hit that. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. That benefits you guys. And it'll be something fun.
How long can you plank for?
Really, that's fun for you. I was like, I feel like that's more fun for me.
Oh, no way. Well, that doesn't work then.
No, but for real, let's, by March, we're gonna go over what our numbers are from February. When we're positive, shoot me some ideas of something fun that could reward you
Have you ever done the
besides
polar
just,
plunge?
what?
Have you ever done the polar plunge?
How about you keep
Let's
some of
do
those
it.
ideas and you can send them to me in an email? How about that? Good idea?
So if we, like, this is, like,
He
I
wants to
appreciate,
see me in pain, essentially, is what Rick's getting at.
Oh, I want you to see rise as a leader. You're tough. So show it.
I appreciate the direction where we're headed, but I don't think we've taken it far enough yet.
Okay.
And I think that if this is like this fluffy goal that's out there, because there's very little that we have to like really sink our teeth into to measure. So the only way for us to win is for all of us individually to look at our numbers from last year, February. And then we all have to look at that and say, okay, well, if that's where we were in February, then every one of us individually has to exceed what we did, and then we win, no problem. But if we leave it as like, oh, well, you know, I'll wait for Derek to, you know, win, and then maybe my numbers will be a little less, but he'll carry me, you know. and then-
How about-
then you
how about we
it's like,
bring
oh,
the-
well, maybe there's somebody else that'll be above or below, but I think there needs to be a little bit more commitment from everyone to say, hey, like, I'm gonna go after this, I'm gonna go look at my numbers from last year.
How about this? How about you provide your numbers?
Here's where I'm gonna go.
And I wanna do this because this is office numbers. We will put a little meter out somewhere. We'll find a spot of where we were at last year and we're gonna add in Eden Prairie's numbers, right? So we'll add in their numbers when they were closing those so that we outpace those as well to be positive as a bonus. And then we can track those so you can see those actually visually where we're at in January and February. How about that?
That's March. That's fine team wise, but I like what he's saying. I think everybody needs to commit to, as a team, we're team players and each player is gonna do better than they did last year. I think that's literally best case scenario. Everybody should be in a position where they can say, yeah, and I know we had an amazing February last year, so I got my work cut out. We're gonna have to kick some butt here.
So we set it up with, like intrinsic work, like plugged in there, like a couple of 100-day reverse prospecting goals, whatever that is called. And have like other things that we can remind each other to do.
I think we could do some challenge days in there for sure.
I think challenge days would be good.
Are we looking for every category to be positive?
I would like to just track,
What are we focusing on?
I focus on units all the time.
8% now.
I focus on units. And so in regards to that, I would like to see the units for sure in a positive. In regards to volume, I mean, we could be outpacing units wise first, right? And then you see if volume's down, then that's a whole nother thing that you think about, that now we have to just take more, right? Yeah,
Well, and I think just going back to volume versus unit, obviously volume's great, but units is a longevity thing. Like when you look at units and your past clients, creating your sphere, creating repeat clients, and it's not, volume isn't necessarily an accurate prediction. Yeah, 3 sales to make up entire volume. And sure, that people, not necessary. You know, have units is measurable and you can consistently create that. I think that's why.
And to clarify, I wanna make sure you are talking about, we're talking about closed units. Taken units, listing sold units and contracts written units.
All those categories, only units.
Because that everyone's gonna be working towards, you know, your.
I mean, in theory, we should be hitting positive in contracts written first, right? And listings taken first, and then the other ones follow. Is what we, is most
maybe-
likely, unless we just have a huge upswing of all of them.
Maybe the other conversation too. All get thousands right now.
That's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation. We're gonna work on getting the business first, and then we'll work on perfecting things. Fair? I mean, I agree with that. I think putting all of those things in one basket for March is a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot, especially if someone's, hey, I'm just trying to outpace next year, right? Because everyone's at a different level in their business. Some are like, hey, I'm perfecting the GCI portion. Some are, I just want to get 4 listings. I just want to get a buyer. I want to get a closed unit. So these are the first general 4 that I think people all can swallow and just kind of be like, okay, I can handle that. Wendy.
I track numbers every day, as you guys know, like coming soon listed, pending, closed, price decrease, increase, all that. And as well as what is active with no contingencies in the 7-county metro area. Every day I track that. And just to give you some context for what we're talking about, what's actually happening in the market here. Today, for the first time, August, our inventory is at 4980. So we dropped below 5,000 available residential units in the 7-county metro area for the first time stock. So I just think there's a lot of opportunity out there. And we were up over 6,000 at one point. So we've lost 1,000 in the market. The other thing is at the beginning
Can I
of
stop you
last
for a second? Who knows these numbers to that level? And I think what's super impressive, right? That if you do, that means that you are not basing your business on the feeling of what you're also seeing in this, like social media or from wherever else, right? She is very exact. What she just said is we were up over this at one point in time and we dropped 1,000 here. When you think she goes into a listing appointment and can say that instead of then saying, well, inventory is high and there's all these price reductions and all these generalities, someone is going to be like, wow, okay, so this is actually a professional and she knows exactly what is going on. And how long does that take you to look up in the morning?
dashboard every morning. Just a few minutes. But then on Mondays, I track the 7-day, because there's something valuable to seeing every Monday. We kind of are at this point. Tuesdays, we see this. Wednesdays, we'll see a bulk of coming soons. So seeing it on a daily basis is helpful, but also then on Monday, I look at the 7-day grouping for that. And that gives me a different picture. So like price decreases back at the early part of this year, we're between 100, a couple weeks we're up to 400. By September, We were up in 800, and we're now between 8 and 700 every. 800 and, I think the highest one was 887 or something. 886. So, I mean, those tell you a significant thing about what's happening to pricing in the marketplace. You go in and you're trying to do something. I mean, you're trying to take a listing and you're trying to come up with pricing, and you can see these kind of major decreases going on in the market. When you see inventories going down, it gives you context for what's happening here, that what we see here on these numbers is tied to what's happening in the market, and what actions do we have to take differently because of what's happening.
Reason why we talk about tracking, we talk about numbers, because the numbers do tell a story, and they give you direction for your business. They give you direction for your clients, right? There are rarely people who are like, man, I can't wait to get in the numbers, especially when business is down, right? That's something we don't necessarily want to look at all. And yet that's the most important time to take a look at, okay, why would it be down? Is it because of lack of lead gen? Is it because of something I'm doing? Is it because of where the market's at? How do I have to take more, right? Would you find it valuable as an office, since most of you are not looking at these numbers, and I'm really going outside my comfort zone right now, just FYI, would you find it valuable for me to send you those numbers once a week? Because I can send out a newsletter and have those numbers in it. I know who clicks those newsletters, and there are people in here that do not click those newsletters. And so would you find that valuable? And I'm asking seriously, if you would not, I'm not gonna put it out there, right? Because there's other things that I can be kind of honing in on for you. But if you do, I will absolutely do that. Raise your hand if you want those in there. Okay, majority of people, like you will actually utilize that. Okay, Colleen.
Have Wendy give a short class one day about what she does and how she does it.
I can speak to Wendy about that, but I'm not gonna throw her and roll over her with the bus right now, but.
Not like on the spot. One more thing I want to add to this. Today, I subscribe to the Morning Brew. I don't know if any of you guys do. It's the national letter that comes out. Anyhow, this morning they came out with a stat that said, the British Museum is looking for 1,500 ancient artifacts. They're missing 2,000 items were damaged or missing, and 350 have portions removed. You think this is a museum that's missing 2,000 items? That sounds outrageous. But then when you look at the end of this, they say, well, when you consider it holds 8 million artifacts, that means 99.9% of them are there, and they know exactly where they are and when. I was like, wow, this is such a great illustration of giving context to numbers.
I was totally confused on where you were going with that for a second.
Because when we talk about these numbers, if I just tell you these are what the numbers are today, and I don't give you any context for that. Once they said it's 99.9% of everything is accounted for, can you say the same for everything in your house? I was like, oh, that's a great, I
don't even know where my shoes are half the
right?
time.
I know,
Like,
but it's a great illustration of that is our job. Our job is to give them the context that says, these are the numbers, and here's what that means. So, that was just, I love that.
Can I say something kind of changing directions? And I agree with everything that's been said. But kind of like, let me take that back. I didn't say a but going with what I tell my
you said
kids.
but again.
Did I say but?
Yeah, you did.
And
Going with what I say to my kids is at the end of the day, I see a lot of negatives, but I don't care about the negatives. What I tell my kids is, forget the negatives. What do you have to do? What are the activities that you have to do to get the results that you want to get? When it comes to these numbers, and when it comes to like saying when are we going to be in the positive, my train of thought is when can I focus on getting the numbers? meaning on how long can I commit to, that if I start lead generating to get these numbers, when will I see those results? That's where it's hard to maybe put a date on it, but when it comes to me, I mean, there is no, when am I gonna start? You should have been doing it, and one of the things that Kami and I were talking about is I actually love the holidays because a lot of people, be it buyers or be it agents, take the holidays off. Well, that's more inventory for us. That's more opportunities for us. If you want to go there, with that being said, you should not, I'm not saying to put the business before your family. I'm saying that there is opportunity and you can take advantage of that. And again, forget the negatives. I actually don't like to see things like that because I don't want it to take away from the focus that I have, that it's about the activity. Am I doing the activities? When it comes to hard work will always, you have to do it smart, right? But as long as you're putting in the time and you're doing the right activities, I don't care about what those numbers say, the results are gonna be there.
And I think that's fair, right? Because this is also coming from someone who is consistent over time, right? Like, and you haven't always been consistent over time. And we've talked about that, and we've talked about different places where you can look at making sure that when the ups and downs and why, right? And the one thing that he said is, it's not when are you gonna start the activity, right? I mean, because really when is if you weren't doing it yesterday, you should be starting it today then. It shouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna start it on Monday then. No, start it today. I don't care if it's 5 calls. I don't care if it's 1 call. Start it today. Whatever it is to get you into that, start it today.
Yeah, I just wanted to invite everyone next Thursday is our team's monthly call day. We have one every month. We do it all together. We try to get the training room if it's available, but we're just dialing. We're really trying to make up for anything that we hadn't hit that week in terms of lead generation.
And a theme, because usually there's a theme.
Well, yeah, I think so. It's pretty obvious, but yeah, we've done pajama parties. We've done, I don't even know, all sorts of things. But we'll be here on Thursday, the 21st, all day. Please join us. And we have a goal of signing 15 more pieces of business for next year. We have 33 signed already for next year, and we're trying to get to 50 by the end of this year. So
that's a pretty awesome invite. Number one, they do a ton of lead gen, and being able to be there and driving through that would be really fun for anyone that wants to do that all together. Thank you. All right, we're gonna go ahead. We're conscious of time. It's 12:05. If you gotta leave, that's fine. I want to give you I took so much of your time.
That's all right. No worries.
Can we go to the slide for some, is it not in there?
It's
Otherwise,
okay.
we can
Oh, there we are.
see next week.
Look at
Come on up.
that. Okay.
You gotta introduce yourself first.
Sure. My name is Eric Ragnas. I'm with Supreme Lending. We came in, let's say,
Okay, yeah.
I guess beginning of November. I tried to call everybody. So if you've got a voicemail for me, that was me. But I'd like to meet everybody, obviously. If there's any way we can help support you, we're here to do that, obviously. There's a list of things that we can do. I've always said it's all about your business first, because I can do anything to help, but it depends on your business. If you're focused one way or the other, we can jump in there and do that. So that's a little bit about, I guess, me and us.
Yeah, and moving forward, we're gonna start just bringing in some information, right, in regards to hot topic interest rates, and just kind of what things are happening economically, to give a little bit of background. So it's gonna be kind of just generalized level of how things are affecting that, what we see moving forward versus just interest rates, or people saying, oh, it's gonna drop 6 times in 2024, whatever it is. So a little bit of education on that piece of it moving forward.
Yep. So I put something, and I'll try to do this every Monday, is just a really, frankly, dumbed down version of what we're going to expect this week in kind of the trend in rates. So I put it on the Facebook page. I don't know if everybody goes on there prior to me joining this. I never did, so I figured it out Monday how to do it, but I can also send an email. We can go a little more in depth if you're interested on that. I can give you context on anything that's there too. So that's gonna be there every Monday, I guess, on that, and then if time permits, obviously, on Wednesday, I can give you an update. You know, whatever helps that way, if you can use that to talk with your folks when you're lead genning, that type of thing.
Chris, you had a question?
Maybe you and Kami can put your two numbers together and put them in the same email.
And maybe we could
just
get into
wrote
that
that down.
media studio and just have a
Oh, a
spark of
dialogue.
conversation.
Are you pushing for that with the name?
I might have, that might have been
Okay.
like a
Okay.
a
That was more
smooth
studio.
close there, right?
Studio.
Just a quick bucket fill for Eric. I've worked with the same lender for 16 years only, one lender. And, I took time to meet with them, regardless of what your situation is, he's definitely worth meeting. So.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Mankato. And I live in Minnetonka now.
Got a lot of experience and doesn't.
Yeah, I've been doing it for 15 years on that. I'll let Rick talk. He's talking about
I was gonna say he's done business similar to the way that a lot of us do business relationship first. And so there was a lot of things that were very intriguing. So it's definitely worth just taking a few minutes and sitting down with them. So.
Family, kids?
Family, yep. I have a 14-year-old. He's a freshman at Minnetonka High School. I have two stepdaughters from a previous relationship, and one is graduating from Nebraska this week. The other one's graduating from Minnetonka this year. Let's see, I got a dog.
What's the most interesting
dog?
thing about you?
I'm not interested.
That's not true.
I'll think about that. What'd you say? I have a, what is he? He's a Sheepadoodle? Sheepdog and doodle, one of those mix.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, he's not huge. He's like 65 pounds. I had a bloodhound prior to, so that's where my level is. She was 130 pounds, so this is kind of a lap dog.
Have you met Puck? Cause that's like.
Your dog? I've seen the little guy running around. Yeah, he's funny.
I put him in the kennel. He was, he was tired.
I like the map.
His beauty sleep.
Any other questions?
Cool. You want to go over the market or no?
You guys have time?
You guys have a minute or no? It's cool. It's no worries.
Otherwise, let's do it next week, for
Alright.
sure.
I'll send out what I was gonna send out to.
Awesome,
You guys
let's
can
do that.
forward it out. So,
Let's
nice to
do
meet
that.
everybody. Thank you.
Also, once we are running a long time, you guys can mingle and talk about those, but please send them to Lydia so she can send them out. So anything that you guys have expired, send those to her. And then anyone has their name up here, you get to come up and spin the wheel. So come on up.
And if you're not on there for any reason and you took a listing, feel free to come on up and spin the wheel.
The listing has to be active though.
Oh, yes, the listing must be active.
Of course, Roy's called.
Great. How many you
How
got?
many you got, Bethany?